afternoon, everybody. This is Justin with All American Panel. I'm going to show you our Hustler TH205 Bale Unroller. This is a trailed model, so it pulls behind the tractor. You're able to load one on the table, and you're able to tote an extra one on the Speer behind you, as well as anything on the front end loader. You have those capabilities as well. First thing I'll show you is how we bring it up above, cut the string off. Show you the easiest way I found to do that, and then we'll get to the pasture and start unrolling. One thing you'll like is there's this handy storage compartment here. It's a good place to put your knife for cutting your hay. Hay knife. This is a real handy tool, whether you've got one of these unrollers or not. I've got a good friend of mine, Ward Black. He's got a business where he sells these. If you're interested in some, send me a message. I'll get his contact information, may even post it in the link for you here. But what I do is I try to cut it from the bottom here. And my blade's a little dull, so bear with me. This has cut a lot of net. It's no reflection of the knife, it's just me not replacing the blade. Once you get your net cut, the reason I cut at the bottom so everything can fall and the hay don't fall on the net and have to fight with getting it untangled. So what I do is it's got a little hook on this thing. It's one thing I like about it. If your reach ain't real good, just always pull it to the back. That way you see how your hay falls right there. It don't fall on top of your net and trap it, get it all tangled up. All right, and then on this side, you want to pull it to the back as well. You never want to pull the net wrap over the top of the teeth here on the unroller, because it'll tend to get tangled up very bad there. Just pull it there. Loose there, loose. That's the most waste you'll get if you leave that on the ground right there. Take our net, storage compartment up front. It'll hold at least 30 days worth of net. That's a joke, but we see how much we can pile in it anyway. Table, and I'll lift the table a little higher than where we'll actually start unrolling at, go through to get into the gates, and I'll meet you in the pasture and we'll show you how the unrolling process works. Another thing I needed to mention, if you'll notice, there's actually a trip lever. This bar here is actually what trips that, allows that to dump over and release, so the Speer can pull back out. If you'll notice, when in that function, I let it all the way down and back up. That way, if for any reason that trip didn't function just like it was supposed to because the bale blocking my view here, when I go to lift my table, it makes absolute certain that these spears aren't still folded back up this way to catch the table. So that's why I lowered it all the way down and then brought it back up to the transport position. And the way I know this from the cab of the tractor is this little gauge right here. So it'll show me from the tractor, it'll show me a 4-foot bale, a 5-foot bale, 6-foot bale, what height to spear it. And why this is important is because from the cab of the tractor, if you've got a roll here especially, it's difficult to see exactly how high that spear needs to be. And the other importance of this is if I go to pick that 5-foot bale up and I pick it up from a 4-foot height, what will happen is that trip won't actually ever engage to release that spear, so the forks will come back out of the bale. So that's the importance of using that. It also keeps you from damaging your table. So this control here is what you're going to use your Speer height. If you'll notice, that's what's going to control your Speer. Notice there I stopped in the transport mode. You can see on your gauge right down there. All right, my other valve for my hydraulics will be what controls my table. So once I lift that table, there's a little plunger there for a hydraulic override. Once I lift that table, now what operated the Speers before will now operate my Unroller. So if you'll notice a while ago when I got to that core, because the core of that roll was pretty tight, and I didn't want to kick it all out in one big lump, and because that would be where they would tend to waste some hay. What I done is I put that valve, I went from being in this position, unrolling. So I pushed it back this way so it kind of rip and shred that hay up a little bit. That way it didn't kick it all out in a lump. So that was the function you seen there. We're going to jump on the ATV here and ride back through, show you where we unrolled, and then we're also going to show you where we fed at yesterday. So when I got home from church yesterday around 1:30, 2 o'clock, we fed up, and you can see what they've cleaned up between then and now. So if you'll notice this long row here, we've laid all this out in kind of a small windrow. That way they don't, by it being in a windrow, they don't tend to lay in it and trample it as bad as if it's in a mat. But if you'll notice, we've probably got 250 or 300 yards worth of hay unrolled, and that's just one 4x5 roll of hay. So with this, it allows, there's about 25 brood cows, females in this group here, and it allows them to spread out. Obviously they're all knotted up right there in the group there, but if you got cattle, like last fall we had some come in off pastures that was a little on the thin side, weaning some big calves. It allows them to spread out over a big area where maybe they're not as able to compete as well with some of the other cows. If you'll notice where we're driving right here, if you'll look, you don't hardly see any waste, but where we're driving here is where we fed yesterday. I went out where this bends back, I went a little further to the fence line over here, but like I said, where I was cutting that string off earlier and pulled it out, if I'd left that on the ground, that'd have been the most waste of hay that I typically see. They cleaned it up really well. Our pastures has still got a little bit of standing hay, just a little there, but you can see around where you feed, they'll kind of tend to clean those areas up a little bit. Part of the reason that I unroll is so I can spread out manure. Now you'll see right there where there's a little more hay there on the ground. Right here, this was right in the middle of a cow patty, and then obviously some weeds here too that are less than desirable grazing, so they kind of skipped over that little spot. But by spreading this out, I'm going to take you over here and show you where we used to feed. And if you feed in a traditional hay ring, this ain't any news to you or anything you don't already know. But I'm going to show you where we quit feeding at. It's probably been 3 years since we fed right here in this spot. So this whole area out here in front of you here is where we used to feed. And if you'll look back over in this area over here, along this fence, there's still, I mean, right out here, there's still weeds and stuff that just where the grass is having a hard time coming back here. It's been at least 2 or 3 years since we fed right here in this spot. It seems like it's been about 3 years. It just destroys your land. Look at the deer going there. They come for some hay and we messed it up. But like I said, it just allows them to spread out. There's a couple calves right here in this group that's got to be pulled off. But well, one new one and a couple there. But anyway, it just allows them to spread out and not have to compete around a ring. So there you have it. That's kind of what we had to show you on the Hustler trailed unroller. If you
we got a special running this month on them, don't we?
We do. We got a special run on our Hustler equipment from soft hand bale grabbers to bale spears, unrollers, whether it be a 3-point or a trailed style. Got rebalers, pasture drags, got a bunch of different equipment there. Bale slices if you're using a TMR wagon and you want to slice your rolls so to mix better. Got all that equipment on sale this month for the month of November 2023. So if we can help you, give us a call at All American Panel, 844-887-2635. Y'all have a blessed day.